Hey you guys, Dev here at WeBuyHouses.com. Welcome to the Cash Offer Masterclass, episode number 68. Today we are looking at this jewel right here in Anson, Texas. And we're going to answer the question, what kind of house can you get for under $25,000? Well, here is your answer. This beautiful place, maybe you even call it an estate, in Anson, Texas. Now, before we jump into the deal, I'll just answer the question, where is Anson, Texas? If you look on the map, here's the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You would just head west 150 miles, and out here in a field north of Abilene is Anson, Texas, a place that has between 1,700 and 2,500 people, maybe around 2,000, well, they're saying 2,500 this year. So small community with about 2,500 people living in it. And so let's just see if a $25,000 place in Anson, Texas works out for us as investors. So I'm going to go over and show you first the email that I got from Fazio Real Estate Solutions. Fazio has provided us with this deal in Anson, a 3-bedroom, 1-bath flip and rental opportunity. And as we scroll down, there is that beautiful house. It's at 714 10th Street in Anson, Texas, 79501. They say the house has 1,478 square feet and it was built back in the 50s. It's on a relatively small lot, 0.19 acres. I would think if I go to Anson, Texas, that I would get, plenty of land, I bet they got a lot of land out there and they don't have a lot of people, but this house is on a relatively small lot. So they say it could be worth $90,000. That's their estimate for the after repaired value. But in its current condition, they're willing to sell it to us for $23,500. When we scroll down here, the roof, they say no known issues. HVAC, do your diligence. The plumbing, they say no known issues. Electrical, do your due diligence. And then they say nothing on the foundation. So HVAC and electrical are the two areas where the wholesaler has brought it to our attention. This thing might need a little work. I think you'll see this thing is going to need a little bit of work. You know what? I just realized I think I forgot to... Yeah, this was around 60. I forgot to put in this last number. In fact, I think it was 66. I could be a little bit off on that. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get my, I forgot to get my model set up. I will finish that. But I think the house, if you look at Zillow's got it at $19,000. Redfin at 65. That was Realtor at 65, Redfin at 50, and my property radar I think was around 66. I can't open that one again while I'm recording. I can't show the personal information about the homeowner there, but so I'm going to go with 66 in there, and you'll notice that Zillow really drags this thing down. That's why I would look more at the median here of 57, and to get a 2,000, let's see, what is $70 a square foot would be 140. This is at 35 a square foot would be 70. At 27 a square foot, 54. Let's go 28 a square foot. You cannot build, by the way, for 28 or whatever. So that puts us, I'm just going to go up one more. Come on, 58. We'll just call it 58. The median was 57,800. So I'm going to give it that. Now, this town has a, let me see if I get over into what I wanted to show you. I may not have left that up. What I did is I looked at the, was it in here? Yeah. Here it is. I looked at Anson, Texas on Zillow to find that there were 9 properties for sale. So this is what you can buy out there. 130, nice looking place, sprawling ranch, 3,000 square foot house for 120,000. You can buy a bunch of land with a house for 345, a mobile home property for 130. I thought this house looked pretty nice. 1,300 square feet, 235, but they've recently done a price cut, very recently. And then here's probably the star of Anson, Texas. I think we're going to come back and look at this one. This is what our house could be. If we bought the Anson property, we could do something like this 4,800 square foot, 3-bedroom house. It's been on Zillow for 133 days. We got to come back and look at that one, okay? Because I think this one's going to be pretty quick, this deal, as we look at it. What I saw was that there were those 9 for sale. They had sold 41 properties in Anson over the last year, which is a lot more than I expected for that community of 2,500 people. That's at 3.4 units per month sold in the past 12 months. You divide that into your 9 that are currently for sale, and you find that there's a 2.6 month supply, which is, it's kind of crazy, but properties do seem to move in Anson, Texas, in this little community. And it's not like it's sitting there with 12-month supply. It's got just a few months supply, but they're not paying very much for these things. And the websites, the real estate websites were not kind to this property, and it was nowhere near, the $90,000. But, you got to think, if you're building a house and there's other houses in the community that are around, the 120, price point. There's one for 95 and fresh modern interior. That's a 2-1. It's a tiny little house, but cute. And it's under 100. That kind of answers the question of what could you get for under 100 if you're willing to live 150 miles west of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You can get that one. We're not going to look at that one now. We're going to finish looking at this one. Guys, this house was brought to us by Fazio Real Estate Solutions. As you probably know, if you watch the videos, we have no relationship with them. We use their posts for the houses that they send us. We use them for content, for educational purposes. If you have any interest in the property, you could reach out to Jade Vaughn there at 214-646-9646, and she can hook you up with a place in Anson or pretty much anywhere else in Texas. These guys have a lot of deals right now for cash buyers. Only reach out to them if you are a cash buyer that can buy, or you have the cash, or you have friends that have the cash, or a bank or something. They're a wholesaler, so they need to deal with cash buyers. That's my point. If you're a wholesaler, don't hit up a wholesaler. That doesn't really work. You're like trying to flip something to somebody else. Okay, so that's the property. We're gonna go in and look at the pictures here. Let's see. What are we getting into here? The asking price again, y'all, $23,500, which is half what we think it could be worth at $29 a square foot. Wow. So jumping into the pictures, let's see what you get for $23,500. This is interesting. I think there's multiple types of siding on it. I don't know if this was done as a style at some point, but it looks pretty weird. And here you can see with these windows, they've actually put fiberglass insulation in these windows and blocked them. I guess it was getting cold in there at night. They've got window units all over here and an old compressor there that's all rusted. That thing's not working. This house, if you were to restore this house, needs an air conditioner. Or just say forget it and go to Walmart and get 5 window units and call it a day, because this house may not deserve an HVA system. Well, you'll see. What can you invest in a house that that's kind of current? Well, it's at least currently valued at the 58. Honestly, you have to assume that this house, if you fixed it up, or if you kind of rebuilt it almost, you could get it up into that, lower, let's call it 60. Yeah, it's 60, $120,000 house. I think that these prices or estimates that we're getting from these sites are really reflecting the fact that this is a crappy house and that there are other houses out there that are in that 120 range. And so if we were to do something with this property, maybe it's tearing down this house and putting up a different house. Maybe it's fixing this house. I think more realistically, you could build a property out there that's worth 120. Now, the wholesaler said 90. I'm going to put 120 just to see if that could support all the repairs that this thing would need. So, looking at it, windows are shot. They said the roof was okay. I find that hard to believe. And even if the roof is okay, what you can see here is the fascia is gone at the front of the house. And where it does exist, it's in pretty rough shape. The soffit's under the the underside of the eave there, looking pretty rough. So I think it needs a lot of work on the exterior. And whether you can save that roof or not, I don't know. I can't tell really in the picture. You'd have to get closer. But it also looks like this house was just made with spare parts. I mean, like, I had some plywood, a particle board laying around and made a wall. And I don't know if that goes into a shed or if I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. So here's that front of the house. What a beautiful place. This is what you can get for $23,500. It's got some tin down here along the bottom. Honestly, like, I could imagine this as a cute house, like fixed up, but man, would it possibly be worth it? Or would you just tear this thing down and put something else here? And that's another question, would it even be worth that? Like, if we go back, where is, I had it on a map, right? Yeah. If we go back here and we back out, let's just look around the neighborhood. We've got a lot there. We've got, I assume, a lot. I don't know. Maybe those aren't lots. But if I come up the street, just look around. We got mobile homes. This was kind of one of the places that was, next right down the street from that house. So just continuing down that street, you do see mobile homes. I think could be a manufactured home. No, it's on slab. So, yeah, I mean, it's just pretty limited. Like, you wouldn't want to build a really elaborately nice house out here. It just wouldn't fit. Nobody would be coming out here for that. This looks like some sort of facility. Got multiple stuff. So, and then, I was kind of missing what was on the other side of the street, but let me just go down here. Look at this house. It's actually kind of cool. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. I like that house. I bet that's worth 125 or something like that. All right, back to the subject property. And here we go. We're going to just get a better look at that contraption that they built. Man, these pictures are kind of breaking on me when I go. Like, that looks okay, but you go in and it gets pretty blurry. All right, so this is inside the house. Here's a closet, and it has been painted black. And all along the edges, you'll see spray foam. So this house, and remember the fiberglass. This house is not sealed. Like, I think air is coming in, all kinds of cracks in this place, and it's just crazy. This room, you can tell they have spray painted the walls black. And that ceiling is, I think these are like kind of like a styrofoam panel that you kind of glue up. You don't see that very often in residential, but yeah, I think they spray painted that, got a whole bunch of cans of black paint. I can't imagine how many, the paint fumes that would be in this room. You get 4 or 5 guys in there spraying black paint. They may not have survived that. Maybe that's why they're selling it. They killed themselves with black paint, inhaling black paint. The house is horrible, right? I mean, everything's pretty horrible. With the paneling on the walls, it's hard to see the cracks, but we see literally spray foam in some of the cracks. We're in the laundry room. It does appear like it might be functional as far as the water hookups appear to be hooked up. And there's you a dryer. Now there's, it looks like there might be something plugged in here that just goes off to somewhere else. Maybe it threw a hole in the ceiling and goes down to somewhere else where power was needed. I have seen that before. People do some really ingenious routing of long extension cords from one place to another in the house. Yep, I've seen that. Look at that beautiful flooring. I don't even know if you need to replace that. I think it's pretty nice. Maybe just buff that up, put a little mop and glow on there. You'd be in business. This is not that same room. This is another washer and dryer just crammed into this area with a bunch of junk. Old door. The door has a mirror in it, right? I think so. I think it's looking backwards at us. Something over here, maybe a heater of some sort. Don't know exactly what that is. All right, we're in the bathroom. How many bathrooms? The single bathroom, so this is it. And here again, you see destroyed floor product, lots of cracks. Cracks either because of movement or foundation, or they were installed improperly. If there's a gap between the floor and the tile and step in the right place, and cracks, because it wasn't installed properly. And then I'll just tell you guys, spray foam is not your friend, and it cannot fix this leak. This is a leak from the seal where the toilet meets the floor and joins the sewer pipe, and there's a wax, often wax. Sometimes I'll use a rubber seal, certain types that are really good. But you have to pull the toilet and replace that, and then it doesn't leak. Putting spray foam around it does nothing. Okay, I'm getting carried away, but this whole thing is horrible. It looks terrible. The walls are gross. I don't think there was a single window you could see out. Now, I thought this is interesting. Look at this. The shower, number one, has a mirror in it, which is interesting. Maybe that is the mirror in the bathroom. Yeah, look at that. There might be one up there. Can't really see it, but they have a mirror in the shower, and the shower does look, pretty disgusting as you'd expect in this house. Look at this spray foam up in the corner. Let me see if that thing goes away. See up there in the top, there's spray foam in that corner. Whoops, sorry. Now, the one thing that does surprise me about this, relatively clean bathtub. Because some people, they live in a gross house, but they don't want to take a bath in a gross bathtub, and I can appreciate that. Wooden floors, when they're not destroyed, you actually probably could, sand those off and refinish them, and there might be some usable floors in there, but everything is black, and everything has, and I think this, I don't know if that's spray foam or what they put, but they put things in all the corners, I think, to try to seal the house from the inside. This is, I believe, the kitchen, because we got a stove over there. Looks like it might be from the 1970s. There's an oven over there, I think, in that section. Very interesting. Don't see that very often. Again, the black paint is just crazy. There's nobody wants black paint in their house. It's just nuts. Okay, so there's the cabinets. None of it's a keeper. None of it. The ceiling's partially done with these things. It looks like, maybe somebody with a drug problem in this house and was doing things to it. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. There, we're going back to the subject right there. There she blows. And on the outside, you can see they were adding on to it. And this is an interesting attempt to extend the roof, I think. And I don't think they knew what they were doing. Now, that's interesting. If we go to the pictures, hang on a minute. If we go to those pictures, wouldn't one of these dead on to the front? That thing is not on there. You see that? If we go to the street view, they had built this contraption onto the front of the house. Looks like they were on their way. And then over here, that gray wall wasn't there. This picture is from October 2024. Hey, they've been doing a little work on the house. They built a gray wall and they stripped off whatever was here. Of course, the fascia is gone at the front of the roof and all that. I think they might have a camera there. Oh, what? Oh, what? They got all kinds of things hanging up there. What is that stuff? Oh, lights, I think. Man, you walk up to this house, you're going to get lit up. That's one thing that's going to happen. All right, so guys, look, that current house, yeah, it's going to be only worth maybe $30 a square foot, right? If you fixed it up, you're buying it for 23, but you got to come in here and do like everything, repairs. I'm going, remember we saw some electrical stuff. Now, that might be a lot. Well, what did they say? Let me go back. Hang on. Where we need to penalize this thing is on HVAC and electrical, right? HVAC and electrical. So HVAC one. So for right now, we'll say no roof, no foundation. Plumbing is peachy keen. I have a hard time believing that. But that brings us to 58,000 in repairs. And using our 70% discount factor, we're at a negative $16,000 on this deal, which means they would have to pay us $16,000 to take this house if we were going to take it and fix it. So the 23,000, a little steep. When our offer, we're going to come in at negative 16. Now, of course, I'm not going to make that offer. It just tells me this is an impossible deal. Now, if we did say the house could be worth, say, 120 after doing all this work, then the cash offer would be 26. Remember, they said 90, right? They said 90. And at 90 ARV, their ARV, let's just use that. We would be at $5,000 that we could pay on the house because it needs a ton of repairs. And honestly, cosmetic probably needs to be a 2. I mean, because this house is almost destroyed. The truth of this house is it needs to be torn down. So if you bought this property for $25,000, let's say maybe you could get it for 15, and then you spent like $25,000 to tear down and remove that house, then you're at $40,000 on a lot in Anson, Texas. There's probably a lot of places you could get a clean lot ready to go for $40,000 that are closer to the Dallas-Fort Worth area than Anson, Texas. So, yeah, this one has the middle of nowhere problem. It has the horrible house problem. It has many, many issues that make it not in a good investor property, and one that I honestly think they would have to pay me to take that house. Okay, so that's that. I did want to go back just real quick. Just remember this one? We got to go see this. This is what our house could be in Anson, Texas. A 4,800 square foot, 3-bedroom, 3-bath house. We've got to roll through this real quick, right? Look at that texture on the ceiling. That's cool. The exposed ductwork. This is interesting. Crazy looking. What is this? This looks like it's part of something in the, like the main town, main street area. I don't know what we're looking at here. Is this, it is a residential property, right? Pretty sure. But man, look at that. It's pretty crazy looking. I wonder if this is like an Airbnb or they rent the space. I mean, there's a bed. The ducts are crazy. That silver ductwork up there. Yeah, there's a bed in there. It's like one big room. What is this thing? This is crazy. And the colors and texture. It's not that it's bad. Honestly, it's kind of like in an artistic way, it's kind of cool. Like, I think they even left that door like that on purpose because it kind of fit in the motif of this place. Oh, wow. Look at that bathroom. Look at that shower. This is nuts, man. This is nuts. They used every kind of tile. It's not horrible. It's like, there's something very, very cool about this. Yeah, see, that was a door from an old dentist office. Whoops, I gotta go. I got something coming up. See how everything's just kind of open? You just walk into that shower. This place is crazy, crazy. You know, if you, I think it's a retail business of some sort though. But this would be the closet slash laundry room part of the space. It goes upstairs. There's a kitchen. I think that might be upstairs. Um, Honestly, guys, this is one of the craziest things I've seen. You know, it's another one of the bedrooms, and look at that treatment of showing the exposed brick and then having some of the plaster over it and the heavily plastered ceilings and walls, real wood floors. Okay, I gotta go. I can't look at this forever. This wasn't even the house we're supposed to be looking at. There's the ductwork there that's exposed. So I think this was probably a historic property, and it looks like it might be in the downtown area, and somebody made this thing into a house. And it looks to me like it was a retail space. It looks like a store. It looks like you're living in a store. And it honestly, if all this stuff was for sale, it would make sense to me. But as a house, I'm not sure. But man, it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. We're running out of time. There's a refrigerator on a platform all by itself near the stairs. Interesting. I wonder if they Airbnb this thing or rent it out for events or things like that. Big back, kind of pavilion area. And yeah, it's definitely an old commercial building that has been repurposed as it's kind of cool. Repurposed as a home in that area. And you got to say it was well done even though it is wacky. This is a giant kitchen. I think there's some potential here for this to be some sort of place that you would hold events. I don't know. Crazy. Anson, Texas. Never knew much about this place, but now we know. In fact, let's be fair. Here's what it looks like today. Beautiful house, Anson, Texas, $23,000. I'm willing to pay negative 15. Yeah, maybe I'll call them up and see if they're willing to take that deal. I don't think so. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. Hey, guys, that's it for episode number 68. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was intended to be a little wacky. Go out there and look at something out in the middle of nowhere that was rode hard and put up wet, as we say in Texas, about this house. Much use of the spray foam in this house. I bet there's pounds and pounds of it used all around. So this shows what you can do with a little spray foam. You can actually keep your house stuck together and stay in it another day or two. All right, guys, that's it. Remember, Cash Offer Masterclass, you can search it on Google or YouTube, and you'll go right to the website. You go right to the content. There's only one Cash Offer Masterclass. It's right here from WeBuyHouses.com. Thank you for spending time with us today. Be sure to check out episode 70 coming up. We're about to record it here in just a minute. And with my friend Joel Beal, it's going to be a great episode where we get into how we really estimate repairs, the cost of repairs. We go beyond what my simple model does, and Joel's going to show us his actual model for estimating repairs in a rehab job. So that'll be it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Love you guys. Happy holidays if you're watching this in real time. If you're watching it later, Happy New Year. We got a great year coming in 2026. I am very excited about the plans we have. So looking forward to hanging out with you guys. Take care. Great. Have a great day.